Launched by NASA in 1962, the first Telstar satellite was responsible for transmitting the first live intercontinental television broadcast, heralding the age of globalization. They still orbit the Earth to this day. Clouded by the seemingly inevitable prospect of nuclear annihilation, the satellite represented hope and spaceward-looking optimism for the peoples of the world in the early 1960s. Unlike an ICBM, the Telstar was designed to bring people together, not blow them apart. It was one step closer to a truly connected world, the birth of the internet perhaps marking the final leap into a truly global society. Telstar was a massive success and captured the imagination of millions. A poll taken in Britain suggested it was more well known among the British public than Sputnik, which had been launched by the USSR 5 years earlier. Telstar is also the name of a 1962 instrumental recorded by the Tornadoes. It was the first British instrumental to reach the #1 spot on the US charts, laying the foundations for the British invasion of the 60s. The composition of the track was also revolutionary. Its digital, compressed aesthetic was ahead of its time and a precursor to the synthesizer-rich songs of the late 70s and 80s. It's full of space-age optimism from a generation who were, quite literally, shooting for the moon. But outside of the instrumental success and optimistic tone is a lesser-known tragedy, a story that involves murder, taking one's life, and more. Joe Meek was an English record producer, songwriter, and pioneer of experimental music. Besides the Tornadoes, he managed John Layton, the Honeycombs, and was involved with some recordings with Ricky Nelson. His career began in the late 1950s, and he gained a reputation for innovative use of technology, including unconventional studio techniques and sound effects. Despite this, he was known to have a volatile personality and made some infamously bad decisions. One such decision was turning down the Beatles before their runaway success in 1964. He was unimpressed with their performance and said guitar groups are on the way out, and that the Beatles were too loud and not very good. His personal life was marked by financial instability and emotional turmoil. He was also guarding a secret that, if exposed, would make him a criminal in the eyes of UK law in the 1960s. Meek was gay. In 1963, Meek was arrested for cottaging, a slang term referring to men meeting in public toilets for sexual encounters. He was fined £15, the equivalent to about £400 today, after pleading guilty to persistently importuning for an immoral purpose. From here on, things would only get worse for Meek. People would try to blackmail him, threatening to expose him and ruin his career. The infamous Cray twins demanded he sign over management rights of the Tornadoes, and Meek was assaulted by mobsters in the street. Meek had apparently told the Cray twins to f*** off, but the pressure was getting to him. He always wore sunglasses while walking outside the studio, afraid of being recognized by local gangsters or debt collectors. His finances became even more strained when a lawsuit over the melody of Telstar was filed, preventing Meek from receiving royalties. The lawsuit was only later resolved in his favor. Things only got worse when Suffolk police announced their intention to interview all gay men in London following the murder of a 17-year-old boy, Bernard Oliver. Meek, who knew Oliver and had nothing to do with his death, was afraid of being blamed. Just 1 month later, on the 3rd of February 1967, Meek retrieved a single-barreled shotgun from under his bed, a weapon he had previously confiscated from Heinz Bird, a member of the Tornadoes. He fatally shot his landlady, Violet Shenton, before turning the gun on himself. The combined pressures of financial struggles, blackmail, threats from mobsters, and his internal battle with his sexuality pushed Joe Meek to the edge. The fact that he died on the anniversary of Buddy Holly's death suggests that his suicide may have been planned, as Meek was reportedly obsessed with the late singer. Whether he intended to kill his landlady, or whether she happened to interrupt him and was killed by accident, remains unknown. Joe Meek was a groundbreaking record producer and pioneer figure in the British music industry. Despite his tragic end, his work remains influential, cementing his legacy as one of the most creative and visionary minds of his era. I feel not many people would make videos discussing the origins of their profile picture. For most, there really is no story. They choose a picture they thought looked cool, maybe try to emulate the style of an existing, more popular channel, or even just use the picture of themselves. To some degree, I chose my picture because, with a bit of Photoshop magic, it looked cool and unique. But there is a story behind it, both inspirational and dark, and a story worth discussing.